the load, it was necessary to create several horizontal tunnels at different heights, which in turn are connected by vertical shafts. We are entering at level 4, meaning there are 3 levels above us in the hillside and a further 4 beneath us. Some of the lower levels extend not just into the hillside, but also out beneath the Tamar towards the Cornish bank. Not all the levels have direct access to the outside world, so each one is connected by vertical shafts through which the ore was brought to the surface, and miners access the different levels by means of zigzagging ladders. This in itself was dangerous and exhausting, particularly at the end of a long and physically demanding shift. The wooden rungs of the ladders were often wet and slippery, and for miners working in the bottom level of the George and Charlotte, it meant a vertical climb of 325 feet, or almost 100 meters to the surface.
So listen up, folks. This here is the mine captain. Bob's asked if he can take you all through the mine today. That's fine, but don't go holding anyone up, because time is money after all. Alright, me handsomes? Sit back, folks, and we'll get going. Enjoy the ride.
All the farmers roll around their field, their dayside up with stroll. The miners that come underground and never miss a blow. Oh, the mining we will go, my boys, mining we will go. With picks and shovels in our hands, the mining we will go. We all worked at the lazy, and when the bell was sound, we all lived in the engine house and made the best of that. Oh, mining we will go, my boys, mining we will go. With picks and shovels in our hands, the mining we will go.
Made out of a piece of straw, or even a length of reed from the river, with a little bit of gunpowder down the middle to help it burn. They light the end of the fuse and then run like hell. Very important, that bit, as you've no way of telling just how quick the fuse would burn down. There was plenty of miners injured and killed by explosions back then. But they carried on working like that, because blasting things is a lot quicker and a lot easier. And speed is important, because in many mines, there was no regular hourly rate. Pay was on a system called tribute. That meant they'd work in small groups, and the amount of copper ore that group took out of the mine would affect how much they got paid. So the quicker they worked, the more money they could make. Hand drilling and using gunpowder was around 5 times faster than any previous method. But it still wasn't what you'd exactly call fast. The next big change that came along was only a few years back. That's when the mine got its first rock drill. It's powered by compressed air, with a steam engine up on the surface compressing the air, which comes down the shaft in hoses. These rock drills are a proper job. They make things a lot quicker and easier. A week's work with one of these drills can drive a tunnel a bit longer than this whole train. And thanks to Cornishman William Bickford, we then got safety freezers to off the gunpowder. They burn at a steady rate so we have enough time to get clear. Little more than tar-coated string, but I reckon they'll be a life. So these drills are really speeding things up, but they're causing us some problems too. First off, as you might have noticed, they're really loud. And when you're working in a small space with these going all the time, it starts to affect your hearing. I reckon there's a few of us that will be going completely deaf in the next couple of years. And they create a lot of dust and rock dust when it's breathed in. It can really mess with your lungs. It's always been dusty during work day, yeah? But I reckon it's going to mean lots more of us are taken bad much sooner. Still, faster tunnelling means more ore. Thing is, with copper prices so low these days, we are mainly extracting ore for arsenic. May mean more money for me with my share up Gordon, though mainly for them that own the mines.
Hey, what went wrong there? Be those old knockers, I reckon. Messing with stuff down here, causing all sorts of nuisance. Best you get on your way now, Bob, before they do any more damage. Go on.
All the farmers go around and fill their bayside up with straw. The miners they go underground and never miss a blow.
Let's pause here for a moment, because I want to talk to you about knockers. Yes, you heard me right, but likely not what you're thinking. Most mines around these parts have got knockers. Little people, about 2 foot tall they are, with long white whiskers and dressed like right old-time miners. Not that you get to see them too often. They hide in the shadows in the darkest parts of the mine, but you do hear them. And when you do, it often means calamity will soon follow. They get their name from the knocking sound we hear all the time when working the rock. The sound comes from within the mine walls and happens just before a cave-in. It's actually the creaking of earth and timbers starting to give way. Sometimes, if we follow the knocking, we find new rich veins of copper. Sometimes it all comes crashing down around us, but that's mining for you. Some say knockers are benevolent spirits who hammer away at the walls and supports the cause of caving. But to others, knockers are looking out for you, and tapping on the rock is their way to warn of an impending collapse. Personally, I like to believe they're on our side and not making mischief. But I'm taking no chances, which is why I often leave the last bite of my pasty for them. And thanks for keeping me and the lads safe. Talking of pasties, did you know they were actually invented here in Devon and not across the river in Cornwall, as them over there would have you believe? But don't let on I told you that. Handy thing, pasties. I always eat the tasty part and leave the dirty crust while I've been on it. That's the bit I leave for the knockers, truth be told. They don't mind a bit of dirt. I've been lucky, I guess.
what with lungs full of dust and inhaling poisons such as arsenic and the like, not to mention the dangers of explosions and rock falls, may don't live to see 35. Visitors sometimes say to me, Bob, what happens when you need to answer a call of nature? Well, since it's only men and boys down here, we just do what we have to do. A seat and a bucket is about as good as it gets. I reckon there's one close by here. That'll be Sid if I'm not mistaken.
Can't you see I'm busy?
Oh, sorry, Sid. Didn't mean to disturb you. Some poor devil is going to have to empty that later. It'll likely be one of the young lads. They do everything down here apart from mining itself. Mostly up and down the ladders all day, fetching and carrying water, tools, even explosives for us miners working the loads. Many of them are sons of ours. Some are young as 11. They're so exhausted at the end of a 12-hour shift, they barely have the strength to make the last climb to go home. And there have been some who have slipped and fell to their death trying. Us older chaps do try to look after the young'uns, though. Mind you, the prospects aren't that great for the girls and women folk working above ground either. It's relentless physical work there too, as my missus and daughter will tell you. Some folks do think that mining for copper and tin, as most mines do around these parts, is the same as mining for coal. But that ain't so. For a start, coal is a much softer material. It's all carbon, and the seams of coal are much thicker and wider too, so it's easier to dig out using picks and shovels, while here we have to blast the rock away to get to the veins of ore. Start using explosives down a coal mine would be asking for trouble too, because where there's coal, there's usually gas, and you wouldn't want to be messing with explosives or even naked flames in a coal mine. That's why they have to use them safety lamps, while we can get away with having a candle stuck to our caps with a lump of clay. We don't have no trouble with gas down here, apart from when Sidlands want to reveal us.
Here, push off, you lot. Here, push off, you lot. Here, push off, you lot.
This here's a water wheel. You've most likely seen one driving the machinery in a flour or textile mill, but I bet you've not seen one working underground before. Here at the George and Charlotte, we've got a power supply that's totally free. Water! We don't need none of them complicated newfangled steam engines here. All temperamental burning loads of coal and often is not blowing up. The water comes from draining the 3 levels up above us, as well as an overflow from the Tavistock Canal. And when all that water has done its job turning the wheel, it just flows out into the Tamar. The wheel's stopped for a grease-up just now, but we haven't got more than a few minutes to get it running, else the miners will be waist-deep in
The wheel's stopped. Hurry, the lower level's flooded. It's 4 foot now. They'll be drowning soon. Where's those knockers when you want them?
Here we are, 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 here we are.
Oh,